The Boy Hunting Locusts here on Chew English. Here at Chew English, we take small stories, short stories, that we can share with you so you can practice your English proficiency one bite at a time. Chew English one bite at a time. And we share these stories of Aesop because they're short stories that are famous around the world. Aesop was a famous storyteller from ancient Greece, and his stories are so famous and so widespread around the world across different cultures and known in different languages that just about every student around the world is familiar with one of Aesop's fables. So let's look at today's story. Today's story is about the boy hunting locusts. Now we have two words that we need to take a look at and make sure that we're familiar with. And let's see, let's take a look over here at our writer here. And the first word that we want to take a look at is the locust. A locust is like a grasshopper. It's kind of like it's part of the grasshopper family. They look kind of like this. They have antennae and they have a large body like this, and they have these long legs that they use to jump with, right? There are many stories about grasshoppers in children's books. But locusts, they're very voracious. They eat everything. And then we have in this story, we have the scorpion. The scorpion. The scorpion is an entirely different animal. The scorpion looks more like, let's see. Scorpion looks more like this. It doesn't have antennae. It has a large body and it has a tail that goes around. And at the end of its tail, it has a stinger. And it has these large claws, kind of like a crab or a lobster. It does look like a lobster, but with a stinger. The scorpion, I believe. And so these are two different animals. And it's pretty hard to confuse them. But you have a little boy, young boy, careless young boy, and this is what the story is about. Let's go ahead and read the story. The Boy Hunting Locusts. A boy was hunting locusts. When he had gathered a good number, he saw what he thought to be another locust. The boy reached out his hand to take it, and it was a scorpion. Before the boy could touch it, the scorpion showed the boy his claws and his poisonous stinger, saying, "If you touch me, my friend, you will lose me and all your locusts." Now, fables have a lesson, and these lessons are called morals. Morals, and these morals gathered together, they influence what we call Western culture. Western culture is highly influenced by ancient Greece, and in this case, the moral is carelessness has consequences. His carelessness could have cost him the work of his day, the locusts that he had gathered. If this was the food that he was going to eat in his home, because I believe at that time people used to eat locusts. And let me see. People used to eat locusts, or they would use locusts to feed their animals. Now here at Chew English, we have the live chat. And if you tune in at 10 o'clock in the morning and 10 o'clock in the evening, you might be able to catch the 5-minute sessions and be able to participate in the live chat. Let's see, moving right along. There's no one in the chat, so I try to keep these sessions to about 5 minutes so that we can chew English one bite at a time. If you're a teacher, you can share these stories with your other peers, with other teachers. You can assign these stories to your students as homework. Now, the best thing to do is to repeat these stories as many times as you need, rewind the lesson and repeat it so that you can memorize a pronunciation and you can memorize the words. You can look at the words up in your spare time so that you make sure you understand the story and that you can tell it to someone else. You can also have someone memorize a story, like a friend that also wants to learn English, and memorize one of the other stories, and you can tell the stories to each other. This way, it'll be more interesting. For example, if you learn one story and other friends, they learn other stories, you can share these stories over a cup of coffee. I enjoy my time here with you here at Chew English, and I really enjoy telling these stories in these sessions of 5 minutes. I tell my students in my classrooms that in order to learn a language, you have to chew it. Chew it in small bites, small phrases, small stories, because storytelling is a very important part of language learning. This is a natural approach that children use to learn language when we share stories with our children. And so they understand what we're saying because of our gestures and the repetition. And since these stories are familiar to you in your native language, you can understand what the story is about even before the story is told. So you're actually listening for key words and listening for meaning, listening for understanding. And then by repeating the lessons, you share them with others and you become more confident in your English language proficiency, and your English language proficiency continues to improve because practice creates confidence and confidence creates proficiency. I hope to see you next time in another session, but until then, I have to say bye-bye for now.